All right, we're still waiting on people, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Poetry Street, a room without a roof, Founders Day celebration. Founders Day is a momentous occasion because we get to honor the founders of Poetry Street, Susan Dingle and Robert A. Bubbie Brown. And I think it's great for all of us to be together and simultaneously be in the privacy of our own homes across the nation on the Zoom platform. And I'm so glad that you're all here. So now let's get started. In Native American tradition, a land welcoming is offered to recognize the original owner of the land in which we stand. To present this welcome, we've invited a descendant of the peoples of the Yamacraw, Choctaw, Geechee, Chippewa, and Saraga nations. The founder of Native Unity and Peace, an organization committed to the preservation of the oral and written documentation, that is the American Indian story. Jerron McKelvin.
Whenever we embark on any endeavors, anything with regards to invoking a good spirit, invoking teamwork, leadership, all of those principles in each individual, we always want to acknowledge the Creator for what He's bestowed upon us. With all reverence and gratitude to Creator for the blessings bestowed upon us on these sacred grounds that we call our home, we thank Him for our ancestors all across each state and the archipelago of the Caribbean islands and beyond. For they left the instructions handed down by signs in nature and in the heavens. We give special gratitude to our extended Lenape family here in New York for the ability to live and situate ourselves in their ancestral homelands. There were many tribal nations living together in the Americas for countless thousands of years prior to European encroachment, which underlined the wars, forced enslavement, and migrations in the 17th century and led to the Dutch West India Company to acquire a stronghold of land from the Lenape nation. They renamed it New Amsterdam and subsequently New York after the Anglo-Dutch Wars. Although there have been many countless tribal nations lost because of the aforementioned reasons, there are still many descendants of the ancestors who lived to nurture and protect the homelands, oral histories, and way of life. As a new day is upon us, it is vitally imperative that we acknowledge our history in order that we preserve the lessons of our past to make way for a restoration of peace and balance for a more prosperous future that we can all benefit from and enjoy together in our pursuit of happiness. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. One of the things we wanted to present to you today was just a very short history of Poetry Street. Poetry Street was initially a project proposed by Susan Dingle, poet, social worker, and community activist for the East End Arts 2014 Jumpstart program, devoted to developing partnerships between artists and the business community. The program was activated by Pat Snyder and funded by the Long Island Community Foundation, Suffolk Economic Development, and the Riverhead Business Improvement District. Susan, a celebrated poet, recognized the need for a poetry venue in Riverhead to celebrate poetry, diversity, and inclusion. When she and Bubbie Brown, legendary poet and community leader, connected, the magic happened. Through the hospitality of Nancy Kouris and the Blue Duck Bakery in Riverhead, and with a few of us in tow, Claire, Nina, Steve, Jeff, and me, Poetry Street was born. The room without a roof where every voice is heard. That was 7 years ago, and for 6 of those years, on the 4th Sunday of each month, we presented features and an open mic to a basically packed house. Chip came on as co-host and videographer, Gladys Henderson as advisor. So many others have joined our family over the years. When the Blue Duck closed, we made a commitment to keep Poetry Street going. When COVID struck, Chip Williford agreed to recreate and direct Poetry Street on the road, the Zoom without a roof, where every voice is heard. Poetry Street on the road prevails with Chip as director and me as assistant director. Other members of our team include advisor Gladys Henderson, media specialists Melissa Longo, James Smith, and Stephen Williford. And here we are, celebrating 7 long years and saluting our beloved founders, Susan Dingle and Bubbie Brown.
I would like to introduce to you this town supervisor of Riverhead, Yvette Arguler.
Yes, how you doing? Can you hear
Thank you
me?
so much. Yes.
Yes, great. Hello, everyone, and good evening. I have actually followed your group for quite some time. I remember that when you were at the Blue Duck Bakery, and a few times when I drove by, I could see people standing around, and I'm saying magic is going on in there. And then when sadly when the Blue Duck Bakery closed, and that wasn't that long ago, you guys went on to Sonny's Diner, and then you're faced with more adversity because now we are dealing with COVID-19, and unfortunately this is now the new normal, Zoom calls, and it's actually exciting to see a group that's unified as you guys are, and that you said no one's stopping us, not even COVID, and now you're having your Zoom meeting. Just to give you a sense of what's going on as far as our town, we are working behind the scenes. We worked very closely with a lot of government agencies, and we were the first to start outside dining, and I personally helped place every homeless person we had, because they were more vulnerable than ever back in March. And we're still cleaning up and starting senior programs and doing stuff that we never thought that we would be doing because of COVID-19. But it's exciting. The culture is always very important. And I'm not sure if, where your organization's going, but please, it's something that you're always going to have supporters. And I'm at 200 Howell Avenue, and my office is open to anyone. When I ran for office, I said I'm running for everyone regardless, and I've kept that promise. And just know that we're here. Unfortunately, when we got the invite of for your Zoom meeting, I already had a prior commitment. I would never have 2 commitments on a Zoom at the same time, because I really wanted to hear you all out. So do stay in touch as a small token for what you're doing, and keeping our the East End, especially Riverhead, keeping with culture. I have 2 proclamations today, and once COVID is over, if you guys would like, I will present it to you at town hall. But for the meantime, of what you're doing and under these circumstances, we thought it was very fitting. Myself and the entire town board, we like to honor Poetry co-founder Susan Grathwold Dingle. This is a copy of your of the proclamation on it. I'm sorry, it's under these circumstances. I don't know if you can read it, but you can have the actual copy, and it's dated today. And this is on behalf of the entire town board. And also we have one for the Poetry Street co-founder, also Robert A. Bubbie Brown. That's Bubbie. I don't know where you got that, but I'm very curious to find out where the name Bubbie comes from. It actually matches. Or is it poetry? Is it you took a poet named Bubbie Brown? Here's your proclamation.
Unmute and applaud.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It is it's well deserved. And again, I would, once we are back as normal can be, because we're never going back to where we were, that once we reach our new normal and town hall is open, fully open, please reach out to my office and we'll present that to you on Channel 22. And it's something that you guys deserve. And, you know, it's good to see the community doing things, not for recognition, but for the heart and engaging other people. And the little that I saw today, I can see that you guys have a close-knit group. And thank you. And I love to be part of you. So can you send me your next meeting?
Absolutely.
Okay. Include me, please.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time out your busy day to be a part of this celebration. Thank you so much.
Good. And I'm going to zoom out now again. There was a conflict and I would never put two Zooms at the same time. But I thought it was important to be late to that one and make sure I make this one.
But thank you so much.
Okay. You take care.
Thank you so much.
And
Yvette.
anything you need, we're always available in my office and we do respond to everyone. Thank you and be safe.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Maggie,
Yes.
so we have someone else that would like to pay tribute to Bubbie and Susan.
Yes, we do. We have our hostess with the mostest from the Blue Duck Bakery, Nancy Couras, who has to leave a little bit early and wants to pay tribute to you guys. So Nancy.
Okay, thank you so much. I can't tell you how happy I am to be here and to see you all. My goodness, I miss you all so much. I really do. We miss the Blue Duck in Riverhead and we miss having our Poetry Street, but I am so proud of all you guys because this is incredible. I mean, you're still going and you're still going to be going strong. Okay, what I have is a poem that someone very dear to me wrote, which is framed on my wall, and I would like to read it. And it's a little bit of a trip down memory lane back to 2014. I'm sure I can't read it as well as the author, but I will do my best. Okay, it is called We Are All Connected. And this kind of explains Poetry Street. We were name cards around a table, strangers in a seminar about strategic planning, goals, budgets, and mission statements. Are you kidding? We introduce ourselves. The first artist says she defines horseshoe crabs along a shore at low tide, washes them, then layers on 8 coats of epoxy and paints them until they blossom, suggesting there is life after death, even for horseshoe crabs. Not to mention downtown Riverhead, that cold Sunday along the river, where storefronts are vacant between hollowed out doorways. Where we see a hummingbird's journey, walls with light murals might emerge, a peaceable kingdom. Translation, economic revitalization of underutilized downtown area. Welcome to Jumpstart, bingo, where everybody wins. But every visionary needs a listener, a town council to fall in love with, a painted horseshoe crab, images of royalty, windows sprouting flowers, a drumming circle by the river at night, a business owner to welcome an open mic for voices once unheard. We speak the connection between art and resurrection, the vision humming in our blood, now becoming a code for an app you can scan on an iPhone. No kidding. When we told you our visions, you listened, believed us, and helped us achieve our goals. So now a peaceable kingdom will parade flags of words and colors towards a community garden, and hummingbirds bigger than horses will prance on cobbled walls, where windows are flowers, lampposts blossom, horseshoe crabs dance, and royalty includes everyone. Along the Peconic River, a drumming circle pulses, while yogis pose on 1 foot balance earth and sky. We are all connected, and we thank you. And this is my beautiful poem from you, Susan. Never forget it. Thank you so very much. And Bubbie, what can I say?
Oh my
Oh,
God.
man, I miss you. I miss you having coffee in the morning.
We miss each other.
I really miss you guys so much. You're just lovely. I look forward to finding you in BJ's.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nancy. We appreciate you so much. And thanks for being our home for so many years.
It was my pleasure, my absolute pleasure. And I'm sure you guys know how much it broke my heart to have to not have it anymore. But like I said, I'm so proud of you guys for moving forward. And This is where we came from, horseshoes, and, you know, we still have hummingbirds. Yay, they're still in the building. So that's always a good thing. And you guys have survived, and you will survive, because you just cannot deny the beautiful words that all of you have spoken over the years. I can't tell you how many times I listened, and the hairs on my arms would stand up. That it's just, it was, I think I told Susan and Bubbie this before when they came to me. I was like, all right, so read poetry. Okay, I don't care, whatever. But it was so much more than that. And thank you. Thank you. I owe you guys a lot. Thank you so much.
We're forever grateful.
I didn't have to go. It's my daughter's birthday, so kind of out. But I didn't want to miss it. I love you all. And you know, if you're recording this, hopefully I get a copy, and I'll see you next time, okay? Take care, everyone.
Take care.
And I love you.
Thank you, Nancy.
We would like to ask Pastor Coverdale to please say something.
It is with great joy that I had to get a driver to bring me from the First Baptist Church facility through all this traffic that's on the east end of the island to make it home, that I might bring greetings to two of my most favorite people in the whole wide world, who I love so dearly. It's rare to realize that Bubbie, who is my senior, I thought you liked that, Bubbie, and is older than I am, would take time and continue to work, to break forth, and to bring life through the word of not only God, but to his own word that God has placed in his heart, that he would spew it out, and that it would touch the lives and the hearts of others. And in so doing it, he did it in the streets, in the church, and in other circles, that he found Susan, or should I say Susan found him. However you want to talk about it, it's all right with me. What I know is that it was a great discovery and partnership, and the love that comes when I see them together, and the smiles that break forth on their faces, and the joy that exudes from their hearts, souls, and minds, brings me to be so delighted to say that I can claim them both. They are loving, caring, and gracious people. God has blessed them with a profound talent, and they have shared that with the people of God wherever they go. Their words ring words of harmony, challenge, and love. They speak of grace and profoundness of God's delight in the world and all that surrounds them. Oh, I wish that this program was mine to dedicate the rest of the afternoon to you too, but that would not be fair. People would feel that I'm just being greedy and over talking. But can I say to you that when y'all started the program, and that when y'all began to work downtown and invite people, that many people who might not have never known what poetry was or to able to appreciate it came into contact with two of the most delightful people. And so I'm glad you gave me a few minutes to get on the air and to let you know how much I love, truly love both of you. And may God continue to bless you. And my dear wife who's by my side right now, I don't know if she can peek and show you because she got all stuff on her legs trying to get her walking back together. But she said, let me bring greetings to you also and let you know how much she loves both of you. God bless you and be with you always.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much, Pastor. And I apologize because Maggie was supposed to introduce you. So Maggie, if you would do that introduction now, post him.
Reverend, yes, well, I think Reverend Coverdale really speaks for himself, but he is the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Riverhead, and he is so connected with the community and people, and is truly legendary on the East End, really all over Long Island, and I suspect all over New York City, and possibly all over the world. So thank you very much, Pastor.
Oh, Maggie, I'm glad they made you introduce me because no one has ever said I'm legendary. Especially outside of Riverhead. I've done some things here they might not want to forget. But you said throughout the world. Oh, like Bubbie, give her my card when you leave and tell her stay in touch. I love you guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Before I introduce Bubbie Brown, Robert, I sometimes I forget your name is Robert, I have to say. Is there any comment you would like to make in response to what you have just heard?
I'm totally blown away. And when people do things, when they do things that they just do in life, and then to get the response from the public, it's just mind-boggling to me to hear the town supervisor, my pastor, Charles Coverdale, even if he tells me that I'm older than he is, some things are sacred, and it's kept between the two of us. But Chip, Maggie, I am so proud to be a part of your family, and it's just crazy. It's just pure God-sent crazy.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Bubbie.
Maggie.
How about you, Susan?
What he said.
Gotcha. All right, we have. I don't think we've totally finished our tributes, but we are definitely moving into the poetry part of the afternoon. And I am so honored to introduce to you someone you've already been hearing a lot about, who is a wonderful poet and a man with the biggest heart I've ever known. And we love him and honor him so much. Robert Bubbie Brown.
What are
You talking about?
Let me just do this poem. This is a poem that I wrote as part of my cleansing. And I didn't know how to entitle it. And my wife just told me that it's a poem of hope and comfort. And it's entitled, I Am. You may be in need of time. I can provide a year, a week, or hour. When you find your energies failing, I've got that Holy Ghost power. All your friends deserted you. Their hearts suddenly grown colder. You can always find comfort on my warm, welcome shoulders. Family disowned you, closed their doors for some reason or another. I am the one who constantly sticks closer than a brother. Your resources all dried up, plus you're in failing health. I can heal and cure you too, and I have boundless wealth. If all your days are filled with torture, sadness, and sorrow, I am that ray of sunshine that will welcome you tomorrow. I am that still, soft voice that calls when no one seems to care. Demons flee to someplace else when you kneel down to prayer. If your throat is parched and dry, you search for an oasis. Just call my name. You know that I am your water in dry places. Lost in life, which way to turn? Down that highway that needs paving. You picked me up, dusted me off, because you thought I was worth saving. Whatever we're in need of God, I am the Lamb. I am all that you will ever need. I am the great I am. You gonna do one too?
No, you go.
Okay. Yes.
I can't follow you.
What did I do? I'm like Dr. Love. It was right here in front of me. Oh, here. Superman has cancer. This was written in 2005 and redone in 2017. Superman has cancer. So big, and oh so strong. The world protector for oh so long. For decades on end, you've defended the weak, spoke up for the frightened who were afraid to speak. Loved by the people, entranced by your charms, comfortable in the protection of your arms. Now this illness has made this invasion on you. The world doesn't quite know what to do. Who has the cure? Who has the answer? Who'll save the world when Superman has cancer? It's not a new sickness. It's festered for years. From killing John and Roe through slavery's tears. It abscessed on Bikini, made homeless a throng, while testing radiation with a hydrogen bomb. Who has the cure? Do you have the answer? Because our nation, Superman, has been diagnosed with cancer. It's spreading like wildfire, burning trees that were green, metastasized the whole Gulf Coast, buried New Orleans. All of Superman's family, his friends, his kin, never dreamed his demise would come from within. This hero is sick, but not terminal yet. The cure is intensive and may cause us some sweat. Inject a serum called common sense. Build a bridge of kindness instead of offense. Let's look at the x-rays. What is it they've said? The cure may be located at Superman's head, where the ego overflows the cranial borders and shouts to the world, no one gives me orders. The bandage to cover this festering boil is a GI stationed on Afghani soil. Before this insanity goes too far, please inform our leader who our citizens are. This great nation must soon come up with an answer. This Superman country has a Superman cancer. It's a little shorty. Long Island summer. When leaves have all turned tarnished brown and lawns have ceased to grow, the weeds are free to have their way till spring, till it's time to mow. When trees give up their foliage and stand before you nude, branches bare and barren for winter's interlude. When robin redbreast is long gone for the tropics headed south, when football permeates TV on Sundays on the couch, when shorelines at the water's edge are free of weekend tanners, our beaches back to locals, free of advertising banners. When gulls traverse the pristine skies, shared with their cousin, the plover, all is well. We have survived. Long Island summer is over. Okay. What's behind me? When I got up this morning, right after I arose, did my morning wash up, then put on my clothes. A rueful sight came into view. Increasingly, it came clearer. I saw some past sinful deeds behind me in my mirror. I've judged the sins of folk today in the worldwide media, when as a nation we have done some things equally to or seedier. But on a more personal level, things I've kept under cover. I've done unkind and painful things to a natural brother. When I view what's behind me, I can't believe that I'm alone. Most of us have these images in our past for which we must atone. I've never maimed or caused anyone to end up dead or hurt, but pain and injury can also occur from things that we've said. Ignorance is a puzzle piece, sort of a missing link that's inert in all of us, no matter what we think. When you look into your mirror, behind you, what you first see, fess up to pass the transgression, join in this group with me. The cure, or maybe an easement in this path of life we walk, is simple conversation. All folk have got to talk. The offspring we are raising up teach social trends that bind us. so their mirror won't get cluttered up with ugly stuff behind us. Okay, can we take a break? Go to Susan?
Yes, sir. You can absolutely go to Susan and come back later if you like.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right, Bubbie, that was, I was weeping. That was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, next up is the one and only our leader, our muse many times, and she is a wonderful poet. She is a wonderful therapist. She has 2 books published right now, which I hope she will tell you about. And she is my very dear friend. And I'm very happy to introduce you to Susan Dingle.
Thank you. Thank you. This is such a wonderful day, and I don't know what to say. I will just read some poems that are from a couple of poems from my first book, which was put out by Local Gems. It's called Parting Gifts. And you could order it on Amazon, and you can order it from me because I have about 1 million copies of it out in the barn. This is a poem from Parting Gifts. It's called Welcome to Costco. You did not expect to leave with an understanding of America when all you wanted was reading glasses. Instead, you travel past buffalo plaid pajamas and TV screens, diamond bracelets and toilet paper, cubes of cheese with toothpaste in them, cellophane wrapped Easter baskets, anything anyone would ever leave home looking for and wind up finding something else. Lego sets, white orchids, which will die, even if you do place 3 ice cubes a week faithfully on their sod. A cart large enough for a family of 4, now dwarfed by a mountain of paper towels and other things you cannot live without and don't want to run out of, hoping this time it will matter what you brought home. This is nostalgia. Remember Queen for a Day on black and white TV in the afternoon, where housewives in aprons could win new washer dryers, a Cadillac convertible, and a mink coat in a shade called Autumn Haze, modeled by Bess Meyerson, the former Miss America, who proved women could have careers yet still be feminine. A program sponsored by Procter & Gamble my mother despised, and my father said it was cynical, but still I wanted my mother to go on that show and win. She said she wanted a pink Cadillac and a mink coat, but she never bought one, even after he died, and she could have had anything. And one more from this book. I'm reading this poem because I really like this title. It's probably one of the best things I've ever written, and it's only a title. This is Waiting in the Parking Lot to Pick Up Pizza at the Edge of the Abyss. Just let that sink in. Waiting in the parking lot to pick up pizza at the edge of the abyss. There are dark holes in space the size of the sun, and this might be one of them. What will I do when the pizza is ready? I will sing a lullaby and offer it up as sacrifice. But our God wishes no sacrifice, only that we give thanks even here on the edge of the abyss, where next week I may be planning a funeral. There is something so autonomic about ordering pizza during an apocalypse, something that quickens the soul to want wild mushroom, spinach, and artichoke. Also, grandma's, especially that which is stone oven baked by an Italian from Brooklyn. Symmetry, isn't it? The edge of the universe calls out for some small sign that what we love is still alive. And that poem was written about Lenny's in Jamesport, just in case you wanted to know.
Yeah, okay.
All right. And now I have a couple of poems from my book called In Pilgrim Drag, which some of you may have pre-ordered, and you're probably wondering, when the heck is that book going to come out? And apparently it's in not so long, but you can also order it from Amazon as well. And so these are a couple of poems from In Pilgrim Drag. This is Big Sister in the Promised Land. Bring me your broken stuff. I will hand out slick prayers and wristbands. I drive into a tree at 90 miles an hour and walk away. I am made of steel, densely packed as any molecule on the surface of Mars. People look at me like I'm crazy. I hand out leaflets on how to be grateful. I took the laundry down to the washer, set it on fire, then call 911. It is embarrassing when dinner guests ask, what happened to the tablecloth? I know you didn't mean it. It was all my fault. I did not see the silver lining. You are always so positive, like when the wind blew the roof off the house and you say, now we can see the stars. I said, in a hurricane, there are no stars. Now I am sorry. I stole your dream, and instead you got diabetes. You were so hooked on sugar, you kept a refrigerator in the living room. You couldn't throw anything away. Two of us patched together with bleeding prayers. At last, I tell the truth, and it will set you free, but it is too broken to make any sense. When the language betrayed us, this is how I cry. This is what it looks like after 40 years in the desert when you see the promised land.
I just read that someplace. Where is that in a book?
Yeah, that's in a book.
I must have been reading your book because I just read that in the last couple of days.
It's in an anthology.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's in an anthology.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, okay. This is In Pilgrim Drag. And the whole concept of drag is very dear to me for reasons that are way too complicated to go into. So this is In Pilgrim Drag. Ribbons in rainbow colors strung between trees. Handwritten messages for those who died of AIDS. Now raised up above the stage, a shimmery festoon for a tall drag queen in towering silver crown and gloves who gestures a sign of peace. As a town crier in pilgrim drag belts out, I know a land where dreams are born. In counterpoint to her, someday I'll wish upon a star. Heroes of the culture war, we're dragged to victory, though transgender soldiers are prohibited from service. We stand together, disenfranchised, Muslims, children of the undocumented, those whose taxes rise as their health care diminishes, Black people disproportionately slain by police, people of color. with whom we mark these festivities of grief.
Wait to that.
So I'll just read a couple of poems that are, you know, it's really funny to be living in a time in our society in which poems about grief are comic relief for poems about our society, but that's where we are. So I'm going to read a couple of poems from my new collection, which is called Stir Crazy, A Portrait of America in Protest.
Wow.
This is Maine Bayview on Pomonic, and I call it a land acknowledgement in Southold Town. Maine Bayview swerves through woods and history denied, native peoples slaughtered on land now named Bayview, where white people command the water views, build homes on confiscated real estate, bloodshed to claim it, never acknowledged by those now driving side roads off Maine Bayview, complicated roads through the wailing woods, where natives had no names and relinquished everything. And I am one whose ancestors got away with it, driving through this evening, an outsider with no destination, listening as if every battle between settlers and natives might resonate a twinge of shame through the silence, echoes of massacres absorbed in the resin of trees, the arc of branches sheltering the sky, where white people like me still command the narrative. Why history favors our claim. Still, I confess, before this sunset, no longer silent on Pomonic. Okay. So, this is how to get to Montauk from the North Fork. There isn't a ferry from Orient to Montauk. A straight line isn't always the shortest distance between 2 points when there is an ocean between them and the risk of current and tide taking you out to sea. So instead, take the long way from the North Fork, beginning at 114 in Greenport, crossing on the North Ferry, careful not to wander on Shelter Island when 114 disappears around a curve. Do not swerve, though you may be tempted never to return. Recall your goal, 114 to South Ferry, then over the bridge, snake through Sag Harbor, then thank God left on 27, ignore East Hampton and Amagansett, full speed ahead until trees fade and bushes appear from nowhere and the ocean comes near. Or from the North Fork, you could drive west to Riverhead, take 27 east and pray you might reach Montauk in an hour and a half or 5 hours later, depending on the season. Some will fly to LA quicker than others drive to Montauk at the height of the season when, if you live on the North Fork, you would never think of going. That is the benefit of winter on the North Fork. You can go to Montauk faster. Maybe the beaches aren't that great, but the ocean is crazy and you don't need a permit to park. Can I read one more? Can I read one more? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, actually, can I read two more or only one? Be honest. Okay. Okay. I will read a new poem that I just had some wonderful help with. This is Stir Crazy, a portrait of America in protest. It is in 5 parts. Not all of them are long. 1. The New York Sunday Times lists 1,000 names on the front page. The president plays golf, and I remember Gil Scott-Heron's line, "A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon." What goes around comes around. Sunday evening of the day the president orders the churches to open, CBS screens Titanic in prime time. The ship whose captain said, "In fact, we're heating up the last boilers now," while passengers whisper, everything he knows is wrong. I am that white girl at the prow with arms like wings. Today I will visit our veterans. I cut stems of peonies, rhododendron, lily of the valley, drive alone to the cemetery on the main road behind my grandmother's church, past generations who died before I was born, to the plain stones, my father and mother side by side. I place the flowers there, the front page of the newspaper between their stones. A breeze rustles the first page, lifts up the columns of the names of family members lost to COVID. 2. Last night in Minneapolis, grief broke out in fires and shattered glass. Last night in fires, grief broke out and glass shattered Minneapolis. Last night in grief, glass broke out and Minneapolis shattered fire. I am the sole survivor, holding on to the broken door, my wet hair frozen, signaling the rescue boat that searches the dark by lantern light in the sea where so many are silenced, frozen, white, float in the COVID sea, pandemic shipwreck where white police still shoot down unarmed Black men and kill them for no reason. A small world we are grieving in Minneapolis as a great ship splits asunder, breaking amidship, the bow ended, going down. 3. The survivors in the rescue boats are picked up by the Carpathian, whose captain turns out to have been the grandfather of my mother's friend, who lived down the street and later died of AIDS. Not that anyone knew he was gay. Small world, such a small world where we wear masks and remember martyrs gunned down for no reason. George Floyd in Minneapolis, Freddie Gray in Baltimore, those whose names are said in protests wherever masks are worn and Black Lives Matter. 4. And as if all that shit wasn't enough, a rat gun bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. I drink coffee to calm down. After praying makes my heart race and tears fall. Prayer warriors cry hallelujah anyhow. Wounded healers, even in the pandemic. First responders whose protests bring life to the broken, hope to the forsaken, pity for the captain who says, in fact, we're heating up the last boilers now, as the iceberg strikes and his white bone china cup and saucer rattle slightly. He sips his tea, as captains do, not knowing what we know. 5. Years from now, this social justice pandemic Armageddon will look like a shipwreck on the sea floor. And we say, yes, we knew, we saw when it went down.
First of all, thank you so much, Bubbie and Susan. Your poetry is so powerful. And as Linda Bullock said, that she realized that we are amongst greatness. And if you look at that, you can see all the wonderful messages from several people. Susan Dingle and Bubbie Brown are on Poetry Street on the Road, the film, as well as they have their own episode. Bubbie is on episode 8 of Poetry Street on the Road, and Susan is on episode 9. You can view those videos on our website, poetrystreetontheroad.com. So we're going to start the open mic. We're going to lead with someone who has featured at Poetry Street at the Blue Duck, and is also on episode 5 of Poetry Street on the Road. And his name is Dr. Mark Yaslow. So I'm going to ask Dr. Mark to please read.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. I'm opening this poem. There it is. Okay. This is called The Rain. The Rain. The rain was asking us questions we did not want to answer. The sun was giving us answers we did not want to hear. It was not until the skeletons within our bodies began to speak through our skin, not until we could travel less, move less, eat less, desire less, that we could see more. The rumble tumble within us that sounds like heartbreak, but smells like lavender and sandalwood, underscores the record of this human experience. It is that gathering of snippets and bits of the leaves and stones from this path that waken our steps with imbalance and fill our eyes with color and water. It is the old song sung upon awakening and through the day, absently and presently, swaying with a hammock of lazy thoughts, the treasure and the refuse of these elder days. It is the knowledge of our broken integrity, the falsehood we said, the cruelty we did, the sin for which we have no prayer, the loss of who we are to some imagined self. They will come to measure us, as they do with all of us, so that the box, like shoes, will not be too small or too large. There will be that urge to contain and hold. And that brings us to earth, fragrant earth, earth filled with roots and worms, beetles and pebbles, earth firm with clay and soft with rotting leaves, earth that traps darkness within itself. Yes, we can feel what the end is going to be. We can know what getting worse really means. As the rain asks its questions, and the sun gives its answers, and we allow believing, it all makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to ask Pamelia if she would please give us a poem.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Lovely reading, Susan and Bubbie. Really very enjoyable. This poem is called Walls. I don't want to write about walls. The word wall stops me in my tracks. My imagination halts. I am tense. A caged animal prowling around in my enclosure, rage spurring me to dash against the bars. I dream of open fields, not even a shepherd's frail fence to tamper the even green. That our eyes can travel miles, discern pale objects in the distance, chimneys, trees, rooftops, clouds, a storm, a swarm of starlings is astounding. We love to stare and stare, to pick out the details. Annie Dillard says it is indeed our poverty if we cannot observe the smallest details that make our world beautiful. Walls are our poverty. They gouge out the ground of our seeing. Zen paintings etch the barest detail, inviting us to fill in large swaths of space with our eyes. We fill color and story until the picture transcends its frame, When we turn away, the simple lines go back to their places. They hold the key to a world each one can make. Walls refuse subtlety. Walls are blatant. They are inscrutable. They are refracting mirrors, so you glance away. You find a detour, how to get away and around the obstacle. Walls spur us to quest for open spaces. See the globe as a mass of heat, air, light, and dark with no gates. Like modern open-plan houses where toilet stalls are seamless with bedrooms and kitchens, the outdoors traveling in, the indoors out, a mysterious mesh, a métissage. The crow that dropped stones in the jar so the water would rise up to quench his thirst, the jackal who always found a way to capture his goal, or was it the fox? The wise beast, the Zen master, the inscrutable riddle, the mysterious, but oh, so plain answer. We can learn from these. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Poetry is so insightful. Our next poet, he actually presented on the first Zoom reading along with Russ Green. And I'd like to bring him on now, James Smith.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chip. Once again, congratulations to Susan. Congratulations to Bubbie. When I met you guys, like I say all the time, I never really performed like that. I just want to thank you guys for just making it like a room with no roof, really. Gave everybody their own open mind to speak on what they wanted to speak about. Very grateful when I met you guys. Nothing but warm spirits. I really appreciate that, and it's definitely a time I'll never forget in my life. This poem I'm about to do is new. I wrote it this month. Chip actually inspired it. He sent me an article about how from 2017 to 2020, police brutality in race has gone up. And also as far as police really not getting the charges I believe that they deserve. For example, the Breonna Taylor, obviously wanton endangerment. They usually have manslaughter charges. And sometimes I feel like if you have a predetermined notion about another race, maybe your charge should be lifted a little bit. And not only that, everybody's human. So just because you have a badge don't mean you gotta get charged with something different just because you have a badge on. And also, lastly, it also involves how we got from the 1800s to now, and things haven't changed, and how the slavery patrol also converted to the police as well. So it was made for us not to really accomplish anything. Murder that's committed that could be de-escalated mentally makes me feel like it's premeditated. Going to neighborhoods the police union designated, fear those you don't know could have bullets penetrating. Brothers and sisters, but they ain't think about the taser. Whether the victim had on a hoodie or a blazer. Shooting first and claim he was reaching for a razor. Another cop disagrees and they label him a traitor. Police was made from slave patrol in the 1800s. They keep us caged or get us killed all around in abundance. Government put this in place. This is capital punishment. Told by Frederick Douglass, check the books he was publishing. In a time where if you would try to learn how to read, by the end of the day, you'll be hung on a tree. Killed on sight. They just trying to get us out the way. But that's the same mindset they have of us today. Slave patrol to cops, only the titles have changed. We get free and they kill us. That's an even exchange. That's how they feel. And even with the black families in tears, they've agreed to kill us for 200 more years. And we hurting. Jacob Blake all the way down and out in Sterling. Looting in the streets, and now the building's burning. And even when I feel like the tables might be turning, there's a shooting the next week, and I'm torn, and it's concerning. Because I'm seeing progress in the side steps, treating us like objects stuck in the projects. Coming through with chokeholds, making us breathe slow. We know they want to see us all on a steamboat in the middle of the sea, so they ain't got to see more black people that they can murder with a knee. Go to court for about a year and then walk away free. Put the badge back on, and then they can kill me. And murders won't stop until the cops are held responsible. It's an obstacle and it's obviously logical, but authority and laws don't want to make it possible. There's victims in the hospital. Listen to the chronicles. Slaves reading chronicles, patrol cut their eyes out. Not documented so statistics couldn't find out. We know what's going on, that's why everyone's mad at it. Similar to police reports coming back inaccurate. Makes me question, are they just inadequate? Or when it comes to saving lives, are they just bad at it? Just the thought of it is draining. For your race, you be restraining, but that's the black ones to say to watch out for when you in training. So when you see me in the streets, before they label me deceased, don't think it's accidental when it comes from the police.
Oh,
Goodness.
Wow. If I could inspire anybody, my goodness, what a woke young man James Smith is. I love him so much. And someone else I love so much is my brother from Multicultural Solidarity Group, Dr. Love, James Banks.
Yeah, very nice poem. Really was moving and it's right to the point. Those are the kinds of things that I'm immersed in every day of my life. Anyway, not to comment on yours.
Okay.
I have 2 poems I'd like to recite, if that's okay. Is that okay, Chip?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, the first one I'd like to recite is called I Can't Bereave. When COVID-19 hit us and hit the US, we experienced pains in the chest, relegated to intensive care, families deep in prayer, couldn't breathe, knees on our necks. Racism was an intersect. Dual pandemics plaguing the planet, worse for Blacks and Hispanics. People of all cultures imposing like hungry vultures. Can I find another brother from still another mother who can heal what I feel? Passing the virus from you to me. 14 days of quarantine. Thousands deceased. Last rites read by priests. Is there a hidden intent to purge populations so event? New ways not to listen. Structural racism, a dread system. Not allowed to let go and grieve. I can't breathe. And now folks can't bereave.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
That's
and just
very relevant.
thank you. Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The very nature of our union promotes estrangement. Political conflict challenges joint arrangements. White supremacy from the start on maps and even pool games. Products on food shelves reinforce superiority claims. We can't blame police educated by media painted in a rainbow of colors, hues and shades, branded and depicted criminal, cause them to be afraid. Cycle of fear perpetuates itself during domestic violence and riots. Masses cry out, curfew enforcement demanding quiets. Unemployment surges, no affordable rents. Food banks and charities attempt to circumvent. Tax breaks given the rich 1%. Blacks and browns see little liberty, measures of justice appalling. Multiple pandemics spread grief across the world, never stopping. Racism, corona, in your faceism, fears, tears families and friends apart. Arresting our liberties and our freedoms impaired. America's in a state of oppression and unrest. It's no longer hideable. We are divisible and have been since the onset. Exacerbated by invent of the internet. We must lead by example, modeling impenetrable unity, and thus establish voter and economic immunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And speaking of voting, please everyone vote in November and plan your vote. Make sure that you plan your vote because there's going to be some tricks out there. We don't want to fall into that. Our next poet is one of the mothers of Poetry Street. This lady I love so much. Gladys Henderson is a staple in Poetry Street, and I'm going to ask her to please read for us.
Congratulations, Susan and Bubbie, and oh my goodness, for everybody else part of the group, how lucky we are to have Poetry Street, how lucky we are to have this moment in our lives to be with each other and to celebrate room without a roof. Waiting out the night. From across the lake, a loon's mournful calls, one whose measures cut into my futile sleep. A welcome guest this evening, as my lover soars away in deep slumber, and I am left alone to face the midnight arcade. Its bolt thrown open by searing pain, its transmuted outpouring swimming to the surface, waiting to be caught in the trap nets of my mind's theater. Its skillful web trolls deep into the stratum of my history, leaves nothing unearthed, haunting images tremor my body, sees all vestiges of peace. Whose faces are these that stare up at me in brutal contempt or surprise? The long line of those who wished more from me than they received. They swim with me across the ciborium of night. Their faces taught me with their regrets, perhaps another reincarnation will provide the landscape to repair my failures, erase the ghosts that walk with me now. No, there's no one to awaken this evening. No one wishes to see my wounded palms or broken body, or to hear me recite the names of those who excoriated my innocence, rented my hope of salvation to someone who didn't even want it to begin with. I wait for the pain to leave, for sleep to break the cycle. Again, the loon calls. His refrains mend my isolation. At last, I fall free, hold onto their wings, and rise into healing sleep.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. The next person that we have is Nina Yavell.
Hi, I'm Nina. I just have a few short poems to read. Actually, one called Oak and Shield. In the whorls of wood through solid oak, without the bark, bugs, or leaves, designs come up through tables and other fashioned pieces, taken from separate trees in their turn and season. They sit on false legs, sanded bodies pierced by nails, handles hang like gypsy bangles on skin that need never have been adorned. In the severed trunk, they say, one can trace the years, the dry seasons and the rainy ones. On this flesh where I rest my arm, the map of heaven is unlocked and the fingerprints of angels sealed.
Oh, that's a fabulous poem.
I just wanted to read one short one, if I could. Okay. Common dreams. I know them all. Shadows on the far hill, wives, lovers, children, friends. They walk below the cat-mouthed moon, faces radiant, eyes smiling, voices lost somewhere in dream, this common path. I knew them all, once families of the sun, now the haunting moon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nina. Now, for those of you who don't know, Nina Yavelle is featured on Poetry Street on the Road, episode 3. And you can find that on our website, poetrystreetontheroad.com. Also on Poetry Street on the Road, episode 3, we have my wonderful co-host, the very talented, Emmy award-winning Maggie Bloomfield.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you. Could we all unmute for a second and just thank Susan and Bubbie? I know we'll do it at the end again, for featuring and for being who they are and for being our creators.
Thank you, Bubbie. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Susan.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
This is an old poem that recently came back to life for me. It's called Listen. Listen to the eyes of a hungry child, the sound of an empty purse, of spirit foreclosed. Listen to a tea kettle whistle, the rattle of silverware on an empty table. Listen to the U-Haul truck ferrying off the soda-stained sofa, to dead mothers and fathers, jonesing brothers, anorexic sisters, the twisted sound of fire setting. Listen to a shadowy sunset, winds whirling away ghosts, old sneakers thudding on the bottom of a Goodwill bin. Listen to the shatter of window panes, to the emptiness of stolen treasures, the snap of handcuffs. Listen to animals and plants conversing, the voices of crocuses breaking earth. Listen to the whisper beneath the shout of those who bellow, the screams of the silent. Listen to the shine of mercy, the triangle ping of clarity, connection, concert. Thank you.
That was pretty awesome, Maggie. You know, you're just incredible. If we can, we're going to ask Melissa Longo, and then we're going to ask Julie Scar. I know that Julie is on her phone, and I'm not sure if Julie can unmute or not, but Julie, you're going to be next after Melissa Longo. And I just want to tell you, Melissa Longo, she started as an intern with Poetry Street, and now she's part of our new team as a media specialist, along with James Smith and Stephen Williford. And I just want to give props to them, because you know, you can't do anything alone, and we are a family here at Poetry Street, and we appreciate everyone's input. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. May I present to you Melissa Longo. And Melissa Longo is also on poetrystreetontheroad.com, episode number 5.
Thank you, Chef. Your words mean a lot to me, as always. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to Poetry Street for starting, for originating, I feel like many years ago. Thank you, Susan, Bubbie, Maggie, Chip, and also for Julie Scar for showing me Poetry Street. So I would like to share one of my favorite authors. I myself don't have an original poem at the moment that I want to share, but I feel like this poet is very special for today. Mary Oliver. She's one of my favorites. It's called Aerialist, and I also play the kalimba, so hopefully I do it justice. And if not, forgive me, read the poem yourself. You know? So Aerialist by Mary Oliver. Aerialist, no, doubt is the heavy thing. They know doubt is the stone, the flaw, named accident, the figure whose body flows over the reins of darkness, is the perfect believer. He makes it look easy, leaping from swing to swing, shining, a white tedral in the garden of blue air, and safer than men on earth trudging. Fervent but irresolute, their doubt always a dark itch, over fields and roads. And Susan and Bubbie, I feel like, yeah, maybe there was some form of doubt with starting Poetry Street, but no, you leaped through. You went over and over. You went above and beyond. And thank you. Thank you.
Alyssa, you have been holding back. Who knew? Who knew? I mean, wow, you play so beautifully. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Doreen Bungan to please unmute. Hi, Doreen.
Here, can you hear me, Chip?
Yes, can you tell everyone where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from North Woodmere, Long Island, which is the other end from where most of you are, very close to Queens. Brooklyn born, by the way. I say that with pride. And I want to thank Chip, Maggie. I want to thank Susan and Bubbie. What a wonderful, wonderful afternoon this has been. I'm so glad I could make it. And I'm going to read this one poem. It's called Confusion of a Speeding Bullet. Arise, false prophets, and bury your dead. This is the day to atone for all of Earth's sins. No evil planet this, but peopled with paper dolls running wild, creating chaos. Fires in the street, bullets fly with eyes closed, targets everywhere. And the house of white lies a dozen times a day. Where can the good turn? Sanctuary has sold out to profit, and money finally the root pushing through a dead earth. Bodies are the new fertilizer, riches the only growing thing. The air chokes on itself. Can we celebrate the day with fireworks while California burns? Remember the dead as more lay dying. Quick attack on the thinning beliefs. Our Constitution sees its reflection and fears for its life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doreen. And we're going to have to call you and arrange for you to feature because you have some beautiful poetry and we would love to feature you at Poetry Street.
I'd love to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so let me read one of my poems.
There you go.
This poem I wrote is very personal to me because it's actually about a beast. And the beast, I think that everyone has a beast, that thing that you continue to fight. It can be depression, it could be alcoholism. For me, it was my speech impediment, and it's called the beast. My eyes open, the day falls dark, and I'm at war with the beast I defeated yesterday. No one can see the wound tightly wrapped in the dry blood-stained linen underneath my breastplate. No one seems to care. having their own battles to fight and their own wounds to mend. And from the muddy depths, I lift up my sword towards the heavens, swinging with the mighty strength of the gods, cutting the belly of the beast, merely wounding him before he retreats. Another round is imminent, and morning is only hours away. I will rejoice and rest till then. Thank you. Okay, so who else do we have that would like, oh, we have Judy. Judy. Yes, thank you, Judy. I'm gonna ask Judy to please unmute herself and read her poetry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Bubbie. Thank you, Susan. I'm delighted that we have Zoom and that I can actually get to Poetry Street without the drive of hours and hours to get you. So I'm happy to be here. Tools to use to crush a walnut. You could try a hammer, especially after you dump the junk drawer on the floor and can't find the blasted nutcracker, or try a pair of pliers if the drawer will open wide enough for the nut head to fit in, then slam the handles together. You could try to pry it open with force, jam a flathead screwdriver into the seam and twist it like a knife in the throat of your enemy. If that fails, place the nut in a vise, crank it until it cries. But wait, you'll have shells embedded in the heart, and you could be accused of murder. Set up a video camera and watch that squirrel that hops along the fence pole, annoying the crap out of your dog. Take notes on how he does it. Of course, you could use a DeWalt 20-amp reciprocating saw with a diamond point blade, but even that won't satisfy your craving for power. In the end, get a friend to hold the walnut while you jab it with a sharp chisel. Steady your hand best you can, but if you can't trust your best friend not to flinch on you, what good is she? When you give up hope of getting to the heart of the problem, consider tools to use to crush a spirit. A single evil act will do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Judy. Thank you so much. That was nice. I'm gonna ask Claire to read.
Hi, I have a couple of short poems. This one is called Here on Earth. When I open the palm of my hand to welcome the palm of yours, the Spirit of God passes between us through each other's lifelines. When both of us then extend our free hand to yet another's, the Spirit moves among us and connects our souls, regardless of how far apart we stand. When the last two open palms in our chain grasp each other, the circle is unbroken, and the Spirit lifts our souls up to the universe, and we get a glimpse of the glory of heaven here on earth. This one is Evensong, and it's for my mother. Evensong is what she named the summer shack, precariously perched on the bluff jutting out over the sound. You know the very one I mean, appearing at dusk to totter, always seeming on the brink of surrender to the bellowing sea. It's the angle of the sun at that hour that cuts your vision with shadows, so you can't appreciate the full firm bedrock on which the cottage stands. Evensong is what she asked him to carve in the plaque that hung below the fireplace's mantel. You mean evening song, he said, like that of the mockingbird. No, evensong is what I mean, as in vespers. She refrained from saying, I mean exactly what I said, not what you chose to hear, because she had softened and there was no urgency anymore in proving points. They each had had separate lifetimes behind them, and now together a new lifetime ahead, but there was no time left to be unkind. Evensong, as in the Sunday service at St. Thomas on the Avenue. That's not a place name, really? Why Evensong? Because she thought, that's where my heart learned happiness and peace, in ritual and repetition, in responsorial song, listening to the choir of men and boys. Some find yoga and meditation useful, but for her, it was an evensong service, with its general confession and the Lord's Prayer to open, the comforting pattern of verse and response, the prose psalms ending with the Gloria Patri, now and always, forever and ever. Amen. The Old and New Testament, each followed by the predictable canticle, and again concluded with the Gloria Patri, now and always, forever and ever. Amen. Not a plebeian sermon required by Vatican II, the Apostles' Creed in a monotone chant replaced her need for a meditative Om, now and always, forever and ever. Amen. Snapping back from her solitary revelry, she returned her gaze to him, knowing she needed to explain nothing further. Because evensong is what I want. Is that not simple enough? Always enough, came the practiced and treasured response. Now and always, forever and ever. Amen. And then I just have one short poem that is in honor of Nina and Maggie and Susan. I love you all, and Susan and Bubbie, I'm so grateful for Poetry Street being a part of my life. Bubbie was kind enough to send his firstborn son to my kindergarten class, and you know, it's enriched my life forever, but getting to know his dad was equally special. Laugh lines now cover tear tracks. Cheeks dimpled by joy wear a rosy hue. A cacophony of gladness fills the ears that could not one more sorrow bear. Room has been carved out for the sweet spots. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Now, if there's anyone else that would like to read, you may. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give an opportunity to those who may not want to read, but just want to say congratulations or something to Susan and Bubbie. I would like to start with Paul Gertz.
No, I've been, my association with the poetry is through my wife, Anne Shelley, who has read poems. And it's been a real experience coming to the Sunday poetry readings and amazed at how a new generation is attracted to the concept of sitting and reading poetry. And since I'm not that much of a poet, I don't have anything on hand to read, but that might change in the future. So I catch the bug and put my 2 cents in. So thank you for Poetry Week.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Paul. If I could just say that his wife is my sister, who I would love to have had read today, but she disappeared. So next time.
No problem. We love Anne.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we love Anne. And thank you so much, Paul, for representing. Okay, and now we want to go to Gregory Newman. Gregory Newman, if you could please unmute.
Hi, I just want to thank you for inviting me, Sue. Gratz, good luck with your move to Oregon, and hope to see you out there.
Thank you so much. Susan and Bubbie, if you can unmute yourself so you can respond.
Okay, so I just want to say shout out to Greg. Greg and I we're at Friends School together. We've known each other since we were 12. And he is an astrophysicist who is about to start writing poetry any day now. So I'm so glad you were here today, Greg, and I hope you'll come back. It was awesome. And everybody, this has like been amazing. So amazing. I just feel so blessed and speechless. So isn't that unusual? It's so awesome.
I'm at a loss, and I want to read this one short poem, and it's only because of the atmosphere and of where what we're living in today. It's called All Day Love. I think there's a shortage of love, and if you need love, I'll share it. I mean, I got so much that there's a shortage. All day love. Early in the morning, when I look upon your face, I see love, love unbounded. I see tender, loving grace. When it approaches noonday and the sun is at its height, I see glowing rays of brilliance when the bride enters my sight. Later in the afternoon, when folks are serving tea, I see a dream, a nubile queen who is in love with me. And when the sun falls off the edge and Eve breathes serenity, my dream is to spend all time with you forever, for eternity. And that's to my bride. That's my loving wife, Aramentis. I love you and I love you forever, babe.
Oh, wow. That's what that's about. I love that. Wow. Yeah, you have to pay homage to the people that you live in the house with and that's been there for you forever.
That's right.
That person is John James, and I know that he wants to say something. John?
I want to say congratulations to Susan and Bubbie. Well deserved. I've been on the sidelines of Poetry Street because I'm not a poet, but like Maggie, I am a lyricist and a songwriter. And I wanted to say congratulations and also share a song that I wrote. I'm not going to sing. I'm going to recite the lyrics as a poem that is about distance. And this Zoom conference reminds me of things that can connect us. This is about the moon. And it goes like this. Through swirls of midnight aqua rays, a perfect spear of light escapes, glistening over rolling waves and casting shadows across landscapes. From where I was, I pictured it as it framed your silhouette, eclipsing you, and then it set your cameo image. Light that floods the dark from here to where you are. That night in June, our wish came true. When I gave you the brightest moon, think of it as my gift to you. When I gave you the moon. Thank you.
Oh, beautiful.
Thank you so much, John, for sharing that. And speaking of love, we're going to go back to Dr. Love because I'm sure that he's going to have something else to say. Dr. Love.
Sure do. I sure do. The both of you have been a light in my life on many occasions. I've popped into places where you were in recitation. I've popped into places where we received awards together. You know, it's just wonderful to have been in your life. And when you move out to Oregon, I'm asking you to put some effort into making sure you get some of those people to change their votes. Because you know we need your love. And if I might just spend a moment just to say a little short poem, it would be really a pleasant exercise for me. Okay, this piece is called We Forget We Don't Have Forever. Day by day, life threatens an end. Scars still hurt when they're on the mend, extracting us from tomorrow's dream We forget we don't have forever, it seems. Protection be gone. Instead, we pray. Replace losses yesterday and today. Despite masks, gloves, some deceased, families' attendance quarantined. We forget we don't have forever. Pain, physical drain, a heavy weight. From America, also, the caliphate. Live it up from dawn to dusk. We isolate and distance for trust. And to be honest, tomorrow's not promised. And as yesterday's night concedes, our interaction and transaction leave. We forget, but we are often reminded, even after we couldn't find it, we forget we don't have forever. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate that.
Could I just say something? Since two people have mentioned that I'm moving to Oregon, I just want to bring everybody up to date. I'm actually going to move to the other side of the river, and I'm going to be in southern Washington State. I'm going to be 5 minutes away from my grandchildren, my rainbow tribe of grandchildren. And it's going to be a new outpost for Poetry Street. So hopefully we'll be getting some poets from out there to join us. And some of them may be children.
Yes.
Great.
Well, I'm unmuted, but I also wanted to actually show my video. So when I say congratulations and thank you to Bubbie and Susan, I wanted to actually show my face and not my picture. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for what you started. I wasn't able to get to a lot of the ones in person, but I got to a couple, and I got to a couple over Zoom, and this is a new thing so that when Susan does move off, we can continue to still do this. And Susan, I'm hoping my book comes in so that you can actually sign it for me.
Thank you.
Okay, and everyone was great. I enjoyed the poetry. You did a wonderful job.
So amazing.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I would like to go to Joseph's iPad. Joseph, if you would like to say something to Susan and Bubbie, please unmute.
Oh my goodness, I'm so delighted that Maggie gave me a flyer this afternoon to witness and listen to all of your wonderful, wonderful words and the work that you're doing for poets. And it was a pleasure to be with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. And now I'm going to ask Linda Bullock to please unmute. Linda, I know you got something to say. Please unmute.
Hi there. I just want to congratulate Susan and Bubbie. You have been quite an inspiration to me over the years. And I hope things continue well in your lives and everything that you do. I hope you start an extenuation of the Poetry Street when you get out west. Bubbie, I know there's still great things for you to come. And I just like to congratulate everyone involved with Poetry Street because it has been a great experience. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chip.
Thank you so much. So we're gonna, I'm gonna take it back to Maggie, and then hopefully Bubbie will say one more poem. You know, I would love to hear the river, if that's possible.
How can I say no?
This is your day, and I just want to say before you do, Bubbie, I just want to say to you and Susan, you both have been such an inspiration to me. You're our elders, and I have the utmost respect for you.
Don't rub it in their faces.
thing to be an elder. That's for sure. You know, it's a wonderful thing to be an elder and to have people look up to you and to go to you for wisdom, because we need a lot more of collaboration in this world today. So, Bubbie, would you please say another poem? But first, I wanted Maggie to say something if she has anything else to say.
Well, with all due respect to my elders, I love you both. I just love you both so much. Poetry Street has enriched my life in so many ways. I've made so many new poetry friends. And I mean, the commitment that you guys made and carried through for all these years is so remarkable and wonderful. And I know Chip and I just hope to carry it on. We cannot thank you enough. And we love you. Mwah.
So, Bubbie, you can take it away, and you and Susan can close it out. Thank you so much.
I miss Poetry Street, the contact, the people getting close to. But I'll tell you this, I am very happy to hand the baton off to you and Maggie.
Yes.
I think Susan and I were just saying how you guys have taken over, and it's been no hitch. There's been no hitch. It just flowed. It just flowed. It's like two rivers coming together. There's no division there. I'm happy. I'm happy that Poetry Street is alive and well and in the hands that it's in.
Yes.
It's a blessing. You guys are a blessing.
Yes.
The river. I can do the river. The river. My children are all grown up now, each one going their own way. Or they call sometimes when I cross their minds, or just to see if I'm okay. The miles and miles that my life has traversed have been long, oh, so long. Some smooth, some bumpy, some flat, some lumpy. I've made some right turns and some wrong. Yes, it's been a very long journey with some more miles to go. Not quite so fast as those in the past, but you see more when going slow. Slower than slow my steps may be, but I'm doing the best that I can. And I hope, you see, that you get to be as old and slow as I am. Reflections parade through my memory as you're going through your life's tasks. I could show you some breaks to avoid some mistakes, but you never, ever ask. Yet I don't need looks of pity from you folk of a lesser age. Don't overlook that I've read the whole book and you're still on the very first page. I thank my Heavenly Father for every moment of every year, the joys, the frowns, the ups, the downs, each one has been precious and dear. So you just try to look upon me as that river that flows and flows, and you're just a stream whose hope and dream is to get to go where the river goes. Thank you, thank you. God bless you guys. Susan.
I would just like you to know that there is a deer that has joined us and was listening to Bubbie's reading right over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm going to read a letter to myself 20 years from now. I hope you still preach. I hope if I caught you in the mirror, you won't embarrass me. Please never get a facelift. Keep your heart open, no matter how many times it gets broken. Be faithful. Praise God morning and night, even if you are now on a bed of affliction and pain, morphine chugging through your veins, with a few minutes left, the Lord waiting on the other side. Promise me your last words will be, God is able. Thank you for this fabulous ride. And thank you guys for this fabulous ride. Thank you. Today was amazing. Amazing.
More than I could have breath for.
We love you.
Oh.
And ditto on everything Bubbie said about you guys taking over. It's fabulous.
Thank you guys so very much for making this Poetry Street Founders Day a success. And we hope to see you all again next month, October 31st, when we have Familia and Mark featuring. And that's October 31st from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And all the information will be on poetrystreetontheroad.com. Be safe.
Thank you all so much.
Be blessed.
Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Bubbie, Susan.
Have
So
a
good
great
to see you all. Thank you, Chip.
Be safe out there.
Yes,
Really wonderful. Wonderful reading, everybody.
See you all next month.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll be good, I swear.
And hopefully we can get Julie Scar on.
Julie, get that together.
Yeah.
Need you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay.